with Kyle Evans. Kyle Evans.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet. Welcome back to another episode of G.R.O.W Show, your daily checkup from the neck up. Kyle Evans coming to you, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Do we got something to talk about today? We are on our New Year's week here, our New Year's arc. We're calling it Setting the Tone. How do we set the tone to make sure that 2026 is not another wasted opportunity? How do we set the tone this week to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for success, to not live in mediocrity? Yesterday, we drew a line in the sand. Yesterday, we talked about the things that we no longer will tolerate in our lives. Today, we're going to do something difficult. Today, we're going to talk about something that most people shy away from. Today, we're going to talk about the audit. It's kind of a scary word, isn't it? Usually we correlate auditing with the IRS, with going through all your facts and figures and paperwork and receipts. And that's true. Yesterday, we drew a line in the sand. Today, we stop pretending we don't know what's happening on our side of it. Today, we look at the receipts. This episode is not comfortable. This morning, it refuses comfort. This morning is about clarifying. Clarity is what most people are secretly starving for, in my opinion. Guys, you can't improve what you refuse to face. You cannot lead what you won't look at honestly. And that's hard, bro. Like, I'm talking with you, not at you. It's hard to face your choices. It's hard to face your weaknesses. It's hard to face bad decisions. It's hard to face these things. And yet, if we don't, we're going to live in ambiguity. We're going to choose a life by default instead of a life by design. And that's not what I'm about, not on my watch. So today we audit. Today we audit. Most people don't avoid the audit because they're lazy. Like, I don't believe that. Are some people lazy? Sure. I've never met a pair of sweatpants I don't like. But look, guys, when we're talking about life and we're talking about growth, most people avoid that audit because it removes that ambiguity. It removes that fog. And ambiguity is a great place to hide. I said that on a coaching call yesterday. I said, let me stop you. That's called hiding. They didn't want to hear that. Doesn't make it any less true. Guys, when things are vague, you get to tell stories. And when you tell stories, you get to be the author. You get to define a truth that fits your narrative. When things are unclear, you get to delay hard decisions. You get to delay hard conversations. When things are fuzzy, you get to keep hoping instead of actually acting. An audit ends all of that. It forces reality to speak. It forces the truth to rise. Reality doesn't negotiate. I want to get something straight with you. Truth does not always come in soft. It doesn't. Truth does not always whisper. Sometimes truth yells. Sometimes real truth, grabs you by the collar. Guys, sometimes truth is the moment you finally stop lying to yourself and start looking in the accountability mirror. There's a difference between truth in self-hatred. And I think that's one of the keys here and why most people run from the audit. When they look at the audit, when they go to audit, they shy away from it because they've been trained in shame, self-loathing, self-hatred. Shame says you're pathetic. Truth says you're better than this, and you know it. Deep down somewhere inside, you know it. You know that you're better than this. That's truth. It's not saying, hey, it's okay. It's not okay. You're better than it. But some people, a lot of people are prone to shame. Oh, I'm just pathetic. I'm not enough. Self-hatred, shame, self-loathing attacks the person, the individual. Truth attacks the pattern, the action. It doesn't have to be polite, but it has to be precise. Truth, which I do my best to live in and find, sometimes it raises its voice. And that's not for everybody. I said this yesterday and I'll say it again. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's bowl of gumbo. It's because I don't like vague. Vagueness is how we hide, and I've spent too much of my life hiding, and I choose not to do that anymore. Vagueness says things like, I'm just busy. It's just a tough season, just a busy season. I've got a lot going on. I don't have the same hours that you have. It's just a weird time. I'm trying. That's fog. That's cover. That's a story. Truth is the cold water you splash on your face to get out of it. The truth is you're not busy. You're probably just undisciplined with your time. I can say that because I've had to face that. The truth is you're probably not in a weird season. You're probably just avoiding the hard season that you know you're supposed to be doing. You're not unlucky. You're inconsistent. You haven't done the work, the amount of reps to negate luck. More often than not, you're not confused on what to do. You're just scared to make the choice. That's the truth. And yeah, sometimes it stings. More often than not, it stings. But the sting is not the enemy. The enemy is the story you tell to escape the sting. Let's talk about this. Is one of the reasons like coaches watch film. In the moment, it's hard to ascertain everything that's going on the field of play, on the field of battle, on the field of your life. This is why they go back and they study and they pay attention. What happened? Let me audit this. What are the receipts? And guess what? Sometimes the coach is going to yell at the game film. But I want you to pay attention to what a real coach is saying when they yell. Don't get wrapped up in the volume and the intensity. Get wrapped up in the content. A real coach doesn't yell, "You're worthless." A real coach says something like, "What were you looking at?" The action, not the person. They don't say, "You're a failure." They say, "Move your feet." The play is there. You know better than this. You were trained better than this. They don't yell, "Hey, you're never going to understand." They say, "Do your job." It's not personal. It's about performance. It's about action. Film doesn't care what you were meant to do. It only shows what you did, and that's uncomfortable. I'm talking with you, not at you. It's uncomfortable for me too. This is why most people fail to audit. They don't avoid it because they can't handle the truth. They avoid it because they don't trust themselves to stay in truth. They fall into shame. They don't trust themselves to stay thinking about the pattern because they always turn personal. They attack their self-identity. They watch their own film and they say some things like, I'm lazy, I'm broken, I'm failing, I'm not enough. That's for other people. That's not an audit. That's a funeral. An audit says, here's where I broke my promise and here's where I'm not going to do it again. An audit says, here's the habit that keeps costing me. Here's the choice that I'm making. Here's the exact moment that I traded long term for short term. Here's what I clean up next. That's a powerful audit. This audit is not you versus you, it's you with you. It's the same team, the same goal. If you attack yourself, you're going to quit. You're going to stop. You're going to live in the invisible prison that you've built for yourself. If you protect yourself, you're going to lie. Neither of those lead anywhere. Your job today is not to be gentle and not to console and protect, but it's also not to be brutal either. Your job is just simply to be honest and specific, truth with teeth, truth with receipts, truth that makes excuses nervous. Accuracy is what gives us our power back. But here's the paradox. Accuracy feels heavy. It feels heavy. And that's why most people don't get the relief that comes after. Vague stress is exhausting, and it's what most people are marinating in. The low grade anxiety of, oh, I should be further along. Ah, look at this person. They're further at my age. Something's off. Oh man, I need to get it together. That comes from not knowing exactly where the breakdown is. I'm constantly seeking clarity because it gives us options. It gives us action. It gives us a plan forward. Once you know, your nervous system begins to settle because position, understanding where you are on the board, precedes progress. Position, understanding position, precedes progress. Clarity is power is what we've said in the bold world for years. So when we think about this audit, I want you to think about auditing 5 specific areas, not 10, but not 1. 5. These are my 5 because they touch really large areas of life. Health, calendar, relationships, wealth, finances, whatever you want to call it, money, energy, health, calendar, relationships, finances, energy. Reality only. No story, no spin, specifically no shame, just truth, just understanding, just figuring out the position because it precedes progress. I want you to ask yourself around health. How do I treat my body most days? Again, not in judgment, not in shame, in awareness. How do I treat my body most days? What's my sleep like? What's my movement like? What's my nutrition like? What is my recovery like? It's very simple. I want you to rate that 1 to 10. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. What's my sleep like? Movement, nutrition, recovery. Not at your best, not on your best day, not on your worst day either. I want you to just be real and say, on average, where do I fall? 1 at the lowest, 10 at the highest. The reason I talk about health first is because a neglected body becomes a bottleneck for every other goal. I had to learn this the hard way. And I say that to you in complete transparency, letting you know that for decades, I did not do that correctly. Ain't no ivory tower here. I'm not sitting on a high horse. This is something I had to learn the hard way. A neglected body becomes a bottleneck for every other goal. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your health like on average? Now, your calendar, your time. What gets protected? What gets protected? What gets rushed? What gets canceled first? One of the toughest truths I had to learn is that my calendar is my autobiography. Scale of 1 to 10, rate it honestly, on average. What gets protected? What gets rushed? What gets canceled first? Is this the story that I desire? When we have time misalignment, we create resentment. Something to consider. Scale of 1 to 10, not in shame, in awareness. Next, your relationships. Am I present or am I just nearby? That's a tough one. Am I present or am I just nearby? Am I engaged or am I just in the room? Am I avoiding conversations I know I need to have? Do the majority of the relationships in my life expand me or do they drain me? It's my relationship with my family, my business, my coworkers, my God. Are they expanding me or are they draining me? Am I having the conversations I need to have? Unspoken things leak energy every day. Rate your relationships 1 to 10, honesty on average. We've talked about health, calendar and time, relationships. Let's talk money. Do you know your numbers? Do you know your numbers or are you just hoping that they're fine? Cody Gibson says, bad news doesn't age well. Guys, avoidance doesn't make you moral, it makes you anxious. Avoidance makes you anxious. The truth about money is it simply reflects habits, not worth, just habits. It's not a personal attack, it's a pattern attack. Scale of 1 to 10, rate your money. Energy. Do you wake up clear? Do you wake up cluttered? Do you feel pulled, dragged, or do you feel purposeful? Low energy is rarely about effort. It's usually about unresolved tension. It's usually about misalignment in the things that you're doing and seeking and working towards. Rate your energy 1 to 10. I want you to look at these numbers. Health, calendar, relationships, money, energy. You should have a scale of 1 to 10 for each one. I want you to look at your 5 numbers. Which one's the lowest? That's not your failure. That's your assignment moving forward. Most people try to fix everything at once, and that's why they end up fixing nothing. The lowest number 1. It's not your failure, it's your assignment moving forward. Circle it, focus on it, raise the floor. Because when you raise the floor, the ceiling follows. Guys, today isn't about shame. It's not about self-loathing. It's not about self-judgment. It's about awareness. It's about truth. It's about fixing things that are broken, fixing things that could be better because we know that we deserve better. We know that we are better. It's about looking at it in the mirror of accountability without flinching, without lying, even if it stings. We drew the line in the sand yesterday. Today we went through an audit. Tomorrow we're going to take these truths and we're going to force it onto the calendar. Because alignment is where true momentum is born. I want you to stay accurate. I want you to stay honest. And most importantly, I want you to stay out of shame. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your daily checkup from the neck up. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Grow with Kyle Evans.